Imagine marching 30 kilometers a day, every day, through deserts, through frozen mountains, through territories where no Roman had ever set foot. You carry 40 kilograms of armor, weapons, and tools, and the only thing standing between you and death is a small leather sack of grain. This is not a story about emperors. This is a story about what it actually took to keep the most powerful military machine in history alive, one meal at a time. The Roman soldier was, above all else, a creature of grain. His primary ration was called Frumentum, wheat, issued raw every week. Not bread, not porridge, raw grain. It was the soldier's job to grind it, mix it, and cook it himself. The result was a flatbread called Bucellatum, hard, dry, almost indestructible. Roman soldiers nicknamed it Little Bite. It could survive weeks in a satchel. It tasted like nothing, and it was everything. Legions marching across Gaul, across Judea, across Britain, all of them lived on this. A Roman army moved not on gold, not on glory, but on hardtack. Now here is something history rarely tells you. Roman soldiers did not drink wine on the march, not the fine wine of the senators. They drank Posca, a mixture of sour wine vinegar and water, sometimes mixed with herbs, sometimes with honey. To modern taste, it sounds almost undrinkable, but Posca was brilliant. Vinegar killed bacteria in contaminated water. It provided a small hit of energy, and in a world before antibiotics, before any germ theory at all, it quietly saved thousands of lives. When the soldiers offered Jesus vinegar on the cross, this is what they gave him: the drink of the common Roman soldier, the drink of men who built an empire. Every army, every campaign, every continent Rome ever touched, the same ritual, the same sour taste, the same survival. Until the flask ran out, and then the real test began. 2,000 years later, we still use vinegar the same way. We just forgot where it came from. Salt was so precious to the Roman military that soldiers were sometimes paid in it. This is where the word salary comes from, salarium, salt money. The Romans understood instinctively what science would later confirm: you cannot survive hard physical labor without salt. Alongside salt, soldiers carried lardum, cured pork fat, lard. Dense, calorie-rich, virtually immortal in storage, smeared on bread, melted into stew, added to anything being cooked over an open fire. For a soldier burning thousands of calories a day on the march, fat was not a luxury, it was survival. 8 men shared everything: their food, their tent, their fire, their lives. A soldier in the field was also an improvised butcher, a preserver, a cook. Behind every marching column was a machine none of the soldiers ever saw. The generals understood this. The greatest Roman commanders were not just tacticians, they were supply chain managers, and they knew it. But cut the rations, even once, and the machine begins to break. Salt moved through the empire like blood through a body. The Via Salaria, the Salt Road, was not named by accident. It fed the city, it fed the armies, it built Rome. But Roman soldiers were not monks. When they made camp, when they had time, they ate well, remarkably well. Archaeological excavations at Roman fort sites across Britain and Germany have found evidence of olives, figs, lentils, oysters, even pepper imported from India. The Roman soldier's mess, his contubernium, a group of 8 men who shared a tent, functioned like a small household. They pooled resources, they traded with local populations, they hunted, they fished. After a victory, there was often feasting, proper feasting, with roasted meat and wine, and the kind of laughter that only comes after men have survived something terrible together. Garum, fermented fish sauce, was everywhere, the Roman equivalent of soy sauce or Worcestershire. Made from salted fish left to ferment in the sun for weeks, it sounds revolting and smelled worse, but it was rich in glutamates, deeply savory, and so beloved that Roman soldiers carried small amphorae of it across the known world. Garum factories have been found in Spain, in North Africa, in Brittany. Here is what the history books often miss. Food was not just fuel for the Roman army. It was discipline. It was identity. A soldier who received his full grain ration was a soldier who knew Rome had not forgotten him. A soldier whose rations were cut as punishment, as a sign of imperial failure, was a soldier who was beginning to question everything. There are accounts of Roman legions that went without food for days during sieges. Men who maintained the routine, consciously, deliberately, until they couldn't. Men who boiled leather. Men who ate their horses, not because they were superhuman, but because they had trained together for exactly this. They knew their limits, they trusted each other, and they believed, right up until the moment they didn't, that Rome would provide. The Roman Empire was built on grain, not on iron, not on genius, on the quiet daily act of feeding an army at the edge of the world. The next time you eat a piece of bread, think about this. Somewhere in the cold forests of Germania or the burning sands of Egypt, a Roman soldier was doing exactly the same thing, with the same grain, ground by the same tired hands, eaten in silence before the march continued.